one bedroom expandable to three at about 92,000 cedis, two bedrooms at about 118,000 cedis, the three bedroom 138,000 cedis.
In today's video, we're going to be speaking with Kwame Obeng, who was a young banker that quit his job to start building affordable homes in Ghana. He's going to be walking us through that experience and the various price points on his project. He's also going to be educating us on some very popular questions that are asked on Ghana's real estate market, like the very popular, why is Ghanaian real estate priced in dollars even though we spend cedis and pesos, amongst other things. Hi Kwame.
Hi Kwame.
Can you kindly tell us a little bit about yourself, what it is that you do, your entire brand?
All right, my name is Kwame Obeng Adjinah. I'm the MD for Woodacres Limited. It's a real estate consulting and development company. We are practically into real estate advisory services. We also help people acquire properties, doing their due diligence for them, ensuring that they don't get into properties that have already been sold by people or they don't get defrauded. And then also we do development of properties for the various segments in the market, both the affordable part of the market, both the middle income, high end. Yeah, so basically that's what we do. Yeah.
Kwame, your story is very interesting. You actually quit your job to start this business, this real estate company, where you provide affordable housing to the general public. I want to start with that. I want you to tell us what that experience was like for you, what motivated you to quit a well-paying job with a very well-recognized company in Ghana to start something so generous, something so, I think it's very kind for you to think about the people that need these properties that are not being provided for and then decide to do something for them. What was it that motivated you to start that journey?
Right. My life has always been motivated by my intention to help people. I come from a very small town called Basingeli.
Where is that?
It's close to Bibiani in the Western North region. And so growing up, I've seen poverty and I've seen how impoverished people have lived. And it seems nobody really cares where they live and all that. But beyond that, public sector workers, most of them work 30 years, 33 years. And when they go on retirement, they have to move to their family houses because these people ordinarily cannot afford the houses that are being built by the ordinary developers we have in our country. And mortgages are also very difficult for them to assess because of the nature of assessment that has to go into mortgages. So having a banking background, mortgages background, and trying to understand how the dynamics work for these people who are cut out, I thought I could do a lot more in-depth analysis into it and see how I can also help. So it's basically driven by my passion to help. Yeah.
So with all the people that are demanding affordable housing, we are all aware that the average Ghanaian cannot afford these properties that are being put up, whether they're in prime locations or whether they're in the outskirts. The price points are expensive.
Right.
Okay, so what is it that keeps developers from going into this market? If the issue is of profit, in the long term, profits will be made.
Right.
So what, if you can kindly educate us on what, I just really want to understand what it is that is the main barrier to entry for developers.
Well, I'll speak really from my perspective and then my experience with other developers, but not for everyone of the developers. Basically, most of the developers tend to borrow money to do their development because real estate is very capital intensive, and when you are borrowing, it means that it's going to come at an interest rate which constitute your cost of funding. And for most of these lenders, they will give you 5 years, 6 years. You don't have so much time to also pay. So you are looking at one, covering your cost of funding, which will definitely go to the end user, the consumer of the property. So again, you don't have so much time to give people to pay, because affordability does not necessarily mean the price you are giving them, but also the flexibility that it affords them. You understand? So that's why mortgages come into play when you are talking about affordability. But then these people, if you price the property so high, they cannot afford mortgages, so they cannot even qualify to own those homes, because they can't qualify for those mortgages. You understand? So if the developer is unable to give flexible payment plan, say 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, then it means that you cannot do affordable housing. You understand? And the best way to then go is to do targeting the middle income and then high end.
So let's talk about property pricing in Ghana. Why properties in Ghana are so expensive. The key reason you typically hear for this is the cost of material.
Right.
So can you tell me some more about exactly what goes into this pricing and why Ghana real estate is as expensive as the more developed parts of the world?
Ghana is developed.
The more developed.
Right. Anyway, I understand. You see, Ghana is a very interesting country. If you look at our land tenure system, for instance, you realize that most of our lands are controlled by the traditional authorities. So they are more like private lands or lands for families and schools. Now, you can't control the prices of land, that's number one. Most of the developers will have to pay so much money to be able to acquire those lands that we develop the properties on. And when you've acquired the land, that's not it. Even registration of the land is also quite expensive. Not to say only the official fees you pay, but there are other things that you need to do to also facilitate the registration of your land. Beyond the fact that Ghanaians also have taste. So you have to keep importing most of these modern materials, and then once you are doing import, it means that exchange rates are also going to affect it. There are duties at the port you need to pay. Those comes with taxes and all that. So even though from where I sit, I would have loved that we are able to get properties way cheaper than what we have now. Sometimes I understand my colleague developers who are unable to achieve these things, because once you want to do it to the taste of the Ghanaian.
I heard a developer say that he spends almost 50%, like, so the cost of the material, let's say that's 100%, he spends about 50% on taxes alone, clearing everything, before breakages come in. I mean, that's expensive, so it's understandable sometimes that these prices are so high.
So we actually need to grow our local industries as well, because now Jata Cement has come in, and we are hoping and praying that together with other local cement factories, steel factories, timber and all that, we'll be able to get things a lot more cheaper. But you realize that sometimes even importing is a lot more cheaper than to source from Ghana. So I mean, it's a multifaceted kind of problem that we have to systematically address them. Yes.
So what is it with the local building industry? Is it that there's not enough demand for these guys to produce? Is it that people are not demanding enough tiles, so we cannot enjoy economies of scale? What is it that keeps us from locally? Or is it that we don't have the technical know-how?
Well, even if it is true that locally there is not that much demand, after the African Free Continental Area trade, whatever, with that in place now, it means that you have access to
Multiple markets.
exactly the entire Africa.
But do we have the systems in place?
We have like the ports. Ghana's
Right.
ports serves most of our neighboring countries that are landlocked, Burkina Faso, Mali, and all those people. Ghana's ports serve them. I mean, we need to reposition ourselves to be able to enjoy what's the free trade. Yes, and incidentally, we have the head office in Ghana. So there is a lot more opportunities that we can generate. There are a lot more opportunities there. Yeah.
Something else we noticed is that your properties are priced in Ghana cedis. I want to understand why you are not pricing in dollars like everybody else. Is it that it's not? I understand why developers price in dollars, but we get the question a lot of why we live in Ghana but we charge in dollars when we spend cedis and pesos. So if you could kindly educate us on that as well.
When it comes to pricing in dollars, you see, real estate is very capital intensive. Most of the banks in Ghana may not be comfortable lending to real estate developers because of past experiences they might have had. You are in the process of developing the properties and then it comes to standstill because of land guards issues and all that. So it's quite difficult sourcing for funding to do real estate in Ghana. So most of the developers will rather source from external financing companies, and those ones, they will never give you the money in cedis. They'll give you in dollars, your interest rate is in dollars, your repayment is in dollars. Now, our currency too is not stable. It keeps fluctuating. In recent times, at some point to be stable, but then by the time you realize it's dragging its feet again. So, if you're a developer and you are doing your repayment in dollars, then you have to make sure that you are hedging against that kind of inflationary issues that comes with our exchange rate. So that's practically the more reason why a lot of the developers will price in dollars. So if our banks could build capacity to the extent that we could borrow money from them in cedis at very cool rates, interest rates, and we are paying in cedis, you can calculate your interest rates, your interest payments from day one up to when you finish paying, you know the amount. So when you are including that in your pricing, it's very easy.
Yeah.
But when you are lending in dollars, I mean, if you say you want to price in CD, tomorrow it can be anything.
And the consumer will have an issue if they come back tomorrow.
Exactly.
And you say yesterday
It was this and today is that. Exactly. And in fact, it could change, like you see the way the fuel prices change.
Exactly.
Today you bought it at 5.1, maybe 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
The next hour or two you go and then it's 5.5 or it's less. So if you want to price in cities, that is how our real estate market is also going to look like.
Which is very unstable.
Exactly. So I think that it all depends on building a strong macroeconomic base that is able to withstand the shocks. Currency is stable. So if you have your currency being stable for like 4 or 5 years, and then it goes from one government to the other. If it is within one government, I'm not too comfortable. At least if Party A is able to do it, and then Party B comes, and they're also able to go like 2-3 years, and it's around the same region,
Right.
then it gives comfort that the currency is now strong enough. You get it, yeah.
Can we talk about the mortgage market and then the high lending rates in Ghana? Can you just give us a bit of an education on that? Since you've been working in the mortgage market for so many years, I'm sure you have really good insight. So you can kindly tell us a bit about why our interest rates are so high. We know that the mortgage market in Ghana is young, but if you can just explain some more so that we can all understand better.
The bank is giving their money to the borrower for 25 years or 20 years. within that period is a very long time, and it's prone to a lot of shocks that can happen. Now, most of these shocks first relate to inflation, because you want to guard the value of the currency or the value of the money you've given. So if inflation in itself currently is single digits, but let's say, I'm not sure of the exact figure, but let's say it's 8%, it means that you cannot be lending below 8%. That will mean that your money has started devaluing from day one. You understand? Then beyond that fact also is that most of the investors in Ghana, they like to invest in the short term. So if you're a bank and you want to lend 25 years, you are lending with depositors' money. Most of these depositors, they will do either normal savings accounts, normal current accounts, or they will be doing, if it's investments, they are likely to be doing 91-day T-bill rate, those kind of things, fixed deposit, maximum they can go 2-3 years. So the financial institutions don't really have guaranteed long-term funds where they can lend. So they must always stay liquid, such that they don't pump so much money into long-term loans, and when depositors come, even though their asset base is good, they are not liquid, so they are unable to give money to people. That would also mean that there will be panic in the system, and that would actually collapse the entire financial market. So financial institutions who are able to do mortgages, most of them will source for funding also from outside. So when they are sourcing for funding from outside the country, then it means that it's also coming in dollars, and the impact of the exchange rate will also affect it. Even if it is local funding they are getting, now Treasury bill is doing around 13%. So why would a bank decide to lend to somebody for 20 years below 13% per annum, when they can actually put their money in Treasury bill and they know that they'll be getting their money back? So for mortgages, if we really want to do it, it all goes back again to the basis of our economy. It must be so good that, one, you know that inflation is very low, it's close to zero. Apart from that, exchange rate is stable. And then the supply side of the market also, you know that properties, there are no issues, because the risk with respect to real estate also come into play. I've seen properties that have been mortgaged that people have gone to court to win judgment over those properties. So all those kind of risks are calculated into the interest rates. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your products. Let's talk about the projects that you're currently undertaking. If you can tell us a bit about your affordable housing community, where it's located, the price points, and all of that.
So affordable houses, the project is located at Amanfrom. That's in between Ebri and then in Sawam. Very, very serene environment. We are doing these houses mainly for public sector workers. They are our targets, and we've tried to do it around groups so that we can leverage on their numbers to be able to create something very affordable for them. When you are doing so many houses at the same time, you're able to reduce waste, and then you're able to leverage on economies of scale to be able to cut down costs. So yeah, that's basically how we are trying to achieve those houses. We are replicating the same efforts in 5 other regions now. So together we are in 6 regions. So there is the Koforidia project that's currently at Oyoko, ongoing. The Central region, we are in Cape Coast, around in Pasem, on the Kakundu Road. When you go to Takrady, we have 2 sites. We have a site at Biaho, that's on the Aguna Road, and then there is one site at Inchaban, that's on the Cape Coast Road. Yes, and then we have Branhafu. So Sunyani, there is a site at Fiapri that we are working on. So we hope that we'll be able to have enclaves in all the 16 regions, but so far we've started with these 6, and it's doing quite well. The interest is great there. We are happy about the impact we are making, our ability to serve these public sector workers with affordable lands, with flexible payment plans, and also lands that are litigation free. Yeah.
So can you talk us through like the price points for this? What do your 1 bedrooms cost, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and then your land prices as well? What are the average rates?
Right. So the land prices, depending on the region, but I think our lowest is about 7,000 cedis per plot, and then we give the customers up to 24 months to pay. Of course, if you are paying within 24 months, you don't pay the same amount as someone who is doing outright purchase, but it's just a minimal addition that we add. Then for the houses, once you've acquired the land, we price it at cost for you. Yeah, so it's not like we are building the house for you and then we are putting in our margins, so much margins, no. So we are pricing it at cost for you. So we are able to achieve 1 bedroom expandable to 3 at about 92,000 cedis. Yes, and then 2 bedrooms at about 118,000 cedis. Yes, and then the 3 bedroom, we are able to achieve it around 138,000 cedis. So these are all at cost. And then we are not doing it so expensive because we want everybody to be able to afford. So they are basic units. When you go in, you can also decide to add touch-ups. There are opportunities for you to expand as you move along, so that everybody within that class of the markets can afford.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Even more so because this product is built out of the standard material. This is not like a container house or plastic.
No.
That's
Yes.
amazing because usually that's how we're able to cut down the cost by using alternative materials. But you're using the traditional materials.
The same materials.
Achieve this. So what you are using mainly is the economies of scale. That's
Exactly.
how you manage to cut down the cost.
And then also managing waste.
Okay.
So for instance, you see when you take a normal room, let's say it is, say 10 square meters, for example. If you are designing the room and then you do it 10.3 square meters, what it means is that when you are laying tiles, you may have to cut some of them and then they'll go waste.
Right.
But if you design it to suit the kind of tiles you'll be doing, what you'll be cutting, you'll be using it to do skirting.
Right.
So by the time you realize, you reduce waste. Exactly. Yes.
That's really interesting. Okay, so this is what the product that you have available for public sector workers. This is something that you're doing for groups.
Yes.
So for people outside of these groups that may be interested in acquiring these, is it possible for people to come together as a group to purchase from you so that they can enjoy these economies of scale as well? So say, what would be the lowest number of people that you consider a group?
Right. Well, at the moment we work with recognized groups because they help us to manage the project very well. Because if you have a group with recognized leadership, it's easier to manage them than having people who just come together just to form a group because of this.
Okay.
However, as part of our strategies, we are working to seeing how we can help people create groups, long-standing groups that they can also use. So we are thinking through so many options that we, because they are at the idea stage, I would not want to go so much into it. Yes, but we are thinking about how we can assist people to come together so that we can use that as a base to be able to help them to own properties.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would the price points be similar to these that you have available for public sector workers, or would be a little higher or relatively?
No, I mean once the economy remains the same, once things are so all things being equal, if there will be variations, then variations with respect to how the cost of building also increases, but not with respect to our margins.
Right.
Yeah, when it comes to affordable houses, like I said, it's mainly driven by impact. We want to make impact, yeah.
So can we create a wait list for people that are interested in this, so that
Yeah, sure, we
once you're
could.
ready with
Exactly.
the way you want to run the product, they can contact you. So I will
Excellent.
leave your contact information in the description below. Maybe you can create a list
That's fine.
for people that are interested. So Kwame's contact information will be in the description, like all the other developers will be available in the description box. So you can contact his company, Wood Acres Limited.
That's right.
Alright. Let's talk about the other properties that you have. You mentioned that you also build for the middle income earners and for the high end markets. If you can tell us a bit about your price points in those markets and the locations that you build in.
Right. Even with those middle income and then the high end, we still try to be as affordable as we can. Yeah, I'm a minimalist, and that's the concept this company operates with. So we have partnership with a company also called the Omri Project, and then we have properties together at Adenta Fafaha. Some of the sites are sold out, but there's currently one which is called the Manor Court. It's a small enclave. It just has 7 houses. Yeah, currently at the roofing stage, but we're getting interest. So people who are interested in buying that can also do that. Those ones with the price points, 2-bedroom goes for $85,000 and a 3-bedroom for $95,000. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place.
What are the sizes of these? What's the size of the 2-bed?
So the 2-bed is I think about 85 square meters, and then the 3-bed is about 110 square meters. Yes. It's a gated community as well. Yes, it's a very beautiful place, easily accessible to people. So we also have another one at Amrahia. That's also very close to the roadside. It also has some few houses, about 5 houses there. Those ones too, the price points. $70,000 for a 2-bedroom house, and then $80,000 for 3-bedroom houses. I mean, we try to be as moderate as possible, or people behind us, or EB and all those areas are doing way more than what exactly. Exactly. So our kind of business, we don't want to waste time in the market. So once we put it there, we want it to move, then we can just move on. With the high end, currently we don't have like a particular place where we say we have so many properties. What we do is we have individual properties that we build on in the high end bracket. So let's say it's a mansion, and then we go into that kind of agreement, then we do those properties for them. Yes, but very soon we are cooking something in the pipeline. Yes. So there is something that will be coming very soon in some prime areas in Accra and then Kumasi. You know, the Kumasi market is a bit difficult to penetrate. So we are doing so much research into that space. But at the moment, we've identified some prime lands in Accra that we are going to start something soon. Yeah.
Kwame, so you have another company called Tenements. Can you tell us a little about that and what that's all about?
Right, Tenements actually is not a company. It's one of our products.
Okay.
So Tenements sits under Wood Acres as a product. It's actually our online product where it comes with a marketplace for sales and lettings of properties. So people who are looking to buy, sell, rent, they can go to our marketplace and then get a property of their choice. Currently, it's available in Ghana, but it's expected to be scaled up to other African countries. Also, on the same platform, there are service providers like artisans. So you wake up one morning, your door is locked. You don't know any carpenter, but you really need to rush and go to the office. You can just go onto tenements. You go to the carpentry section. There are a lot of carpenters there. You can just look at the one who is close by, pick the person's number, contact the person, and the person will come and sort you out. You don't have to pay through tenements. You just do your arrangements with them. But tenement gives you an opportunity to rate the person, leave your comments, your experience, and all that, so that other people will be guided when they get onto the platform. Right.
Carpenters are the most difficult artisans to do. They're very annoying.
So I mean, we have all the artisans, metalworks, masons, like all the artisans within the real estate space. You can find them there. So if you're an artisan, exactly. So if you're an artisan and you also want to sign up onto tenements, service providers, you can just go onto the platform, sign up, and then we will review it at back end. Maybe there will be some few questions we'll ask you. Once we're able to pass through the screening, you will be added onto the marketplace and people can see you. Then on tenements, one of our major aims or the goal for creating tenements was not only to bring people together within the market place also, but also to increase access to housing and housing finance. So we've partnered with some banks, and then there is the tenement mortgage section where you can, when you see a property on our marketplace or you see a property elsewhere, instead of calling 5 banks, 6 banks, asking them for interest and all that, you can just make one application on tenements, and then it will go to all our partnered banks. You have the option to also select a preferred bank. Yes, so you can either leave your options open and all the banks can make you a pre-approval offer. You look at them, which one you are interested in.
That's great, because
and
then you compare the rates
exactly,
all at once without doing all that work.
exactly. Right, so we are actually creating access, increasing the access to financial financing in real estate, as well as also creating healthy competition amongst the banks. Just that the banks themselves will not see what the other party is offering, so that they go and tweak it and do something small. No, the banks see what they have offered, but the customer sees everything each bank has offered. And so far, it's something that is really helping, and we hope that we'll be able to create.
That's one of the best ways to save money when you're buying real estate in Ghana.
That's right.
Little differences with the mortgage rates, you might see it as like a simple 0.5%.
That's
but
right.
in the long term, it can save you hundreds of thousands of cedis.
That's right.
So that's a really beautiful way.
Yes.
It's a really great way
Yes.
to offer value to the market.
Right, and beyond that, different banks come with different requirements. Some of them you have to make some down payments of this amount, some of them you have to pay some fees. So it helps you to compare all that, and then without also any hassle. When a bank makes you an offer, it comes to your dashboard, you're able to see it, you're able to get back to them with feedback and all that. So it's like bringing all the banks to your home.
And you can do it from your seat, your
exactly.
chair.
And you don't need to call anybody for you to now call a bank and say, you see that your lady at the call center, she's very rude. No, you don't have to do that. Yes, but the beautiful thing about it is that when you make that application, it doesn't go straight to the bank. Okay, Woodacres has a mortgage advisory section within our team. So we first review your application, and then we assign it to the banks that your specific application will qualify for. So if it's to qualify for about 2 or 3, we do so. That also helps to reduce the time the banks have to spend on reviewing applications. Because once it's assigned to them, we know that it fits their requirements. So all they need to do is to look at their interest rate, how much they can offer you, how much time, how much will you be paying, those kind of things. And if they are in questions, exactly, yeah. To sign up onto Tenement, you just go to, there's a mobile app, so you can go onto Play Store or App Store and then look for Tenement, just the spelling. Use our web app by going to www.tenement.com, and I mean you have access to all the things you are talking about.
So thank you so much, Kwame, for your time. Thank you for having us and answering all our questions and help to educate my audience.
Yeah, welcome, Mami.
I really also appreciate what you're doing for the housing market. That's very admirable stuff.
Right. Thank you too. Right. Sure. Bye.
I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and share this with your friends and family that may find it interesting. If you want to contact Kwame or Woodacres, I will leave all the contact information below in the description. So definitely check it out if you want to reach out to them. Hopefully, I see you in my next video. Have a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and an amazing life. Bye!